Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, October 15, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves earlier today at the National Insurance Services Pensioners Appreciation Day event announced plans for the establishment of an acute referral hospital at Honest Vale. Dr. Gonsalves told the gathering that the Chief Medical Officer has already made a presentation regarding the facility to Cabinet. He said the acute referral hospital, upon completion, will carry out certain specific functions and more.
A number of ailments which affect elderly and not so elderly, heart problems, we have a special section for that. The kidneys, the renal function, we have a special thing for that. You hear me? In addition to the usual thing to deal with diabetes and hypertension, both at the one in Kingston and the one there, we're going to have more operating theaters in the whole country. We have 4 down there already. We're going to put an extra one at Milton K2, that'll make 5. We're going to put 6 out at Arnesville. And we're having 1 in the medical complex in Georgetown, so we will have 12 operating theater. And I'm going through everything with the doctors then, because I have the money already for the design, and I want them to write down all what we're going to do, so the people who are going to do the design, when we come to build it, it's done proper.
With reference to the pensioners, PM Gonsalves made it known that for the last population census in 2012, there were 13,811 persons 60 years and older, amounting to 12.5% of the population, which he says has implications for the country, and that the necessary safety net must be put in place to ensure these persons are secure in their old age.
We have to make special arrangements for housing, and for health, and for security, to make sure that some young people who are not so young, who want to go to the way of crime, they don't try to rob you and harass you and abuse you and take advantage of you. And we have to make sure that the young people are sufficiently educated and respectful to honor their mother and their fathers and their grandmothers and their grandfathers and the elderly generally.
And Deputy Executive Director of the NIS, Dr. Minerva Glasgow, told the old age pensioners that it is not merely the fact that they have reached pensionable age that makes them important, as the NIS sees them as being worthy of respect and extra consideration.
Because in the course of your lives, you have earned our gratitude because of the way in which your individual actions have contributed to society as a whole. The idea that we owe much of what we now have to the sacrifices made by those of you who came before clarifies why we should view the elderly with respect and honor. We know that to a certain extent, each generation raises the next one in terms of improving quality of life and advancing social justice. Rather than relegate senior citizens to the sidelines of life, we should celebrate them and work to enable them to more fully become integrated in society.
Dr. Glasgow further stated that the NIS sees providing pensions and other forms of social assistance to the elderly population as an integral pillar of its operations.
Pride in delivering this service, and we consider it to be a significant contribution because we are aware that many of these persons depend solely on these pensions for their subsistence. Imagine, if you may, what it would have meant for these persons if the NIS did not exist. Bearing in mind that when persons reach their golden years, they are faced with economic challenges, including escalating medical expenses. In some cases, some of our senior citizens still have to assist with taking care of children and grandchildren because of contingent circumstances. We are therefore committed to keep the promise of helping you to take care of your necessities.
Chairman of the National Insurance Board, Lennox Bowman, told the gathering that they are committed to ensuring the contribution persons make are properly accounted for and remitted to the NIS, that when persons reach their pensionable age, they can reap the rewards of their labor.
This is particularly critical for those persons who are on the lowest spectrum of the salary scale. I am sure that many of you are happy that you are receiving a dignified fortnightly pension from the NIS. It is designed to provide you with a secure protection of support on which you can build. You can rely on your NIS pension as a safety net. Prior to the NIS, many persons saw growing old as a threat. They became anxious about what their financial future held for them. But now, with certainty of our fortnightly pension, you do not have to fear getting old. You can actually look forward to retirement as a time to be free from the world of work and spend time with your family and loved ones. This is not to say, my dear pensioners, that your pension alone will see you through, but it helps.
Today's event was held under the theme Recognizing, Respecting and Reconnecting Retirees. Minister of Agriculture Sabota Caesar is applauding the efforts of the farmers and agro-processors to feed the nation and to assist in the economical development of the country. The minister was speaking at the World Food Day Agricultural Exhibition held earlier today at Heritage Square in commemoration of World Food Day tomorrow. According to Caesar, food is of critical importance to the survival of Vincentians, and that so far farmers have been doing a remarkable job with their contributions to feeding the people. The Agriculture Minister said farmers in SVG have a lot to be proud of and urges all stakeholders in produce and food production to continue to work along with the government to ensure that all the needs of the people are being met.
Not to boast about, and we must be proud. Today, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the largest exporter of cattle in the OECS and one of the largest exporters of cattle in CARICOM. We have to be proud of that. On Sunday coming, God's willing, we will be exporting bananas again to the United Kingdom in the first of 3 trial shipments. And our banana farmers must be proud of that. I recall some 3 years ago, we were producing 27,000 pounds of arrowroot starch. And I want to specially recognize the staff of the Arrowroot Association, and they are here with us and they're displaying some of their products. 3 years ago, we were producing 27,000 pounds of starch.
Caesar also encouraged farmers to pay their NIS contributions so that their future as retirees will be just as comfortable as any other hardworking Vincentian. The minister also announced the plan of the government to implement a special program that will see different trees being planted, such as mahogany, in which farmers will be able to cash in on as an added incentive for a sustainable income.
I want to encourage our farmers, more of our farmers must pay their NIS. When the teachers retire, they have their benefits. When the policemen retire, they have their benefits. And there are so many other persons, when they retire, they have their benefits. I am encouraging the farmers to put something aside. And we have already collected the funds from the NIS, and we are going to carry out a national campaign in this country to ensure that our farmers begin the process of putting something aside, no matter how small it is, so that when those years come, you can fall back on it.
Additionally, Caesar is encouraging farmers to be prepared to have access to more markets, where they'll be able to receive better prices and more persons will be employed for large-scale agricultural production with the opening of the Argyle International Airport, adding that this will be a celebrated day for the agricultural sector in SVG.
There is a glorious day coming for the farmers in this country. And I just noticed my brother Keith Boy, he just passed there. We are fully aware that a Amerijet can take so much and no more. And I want to thank him for providing the Amerijet service in St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the years. And many farmers would have benefited and continue to benefit. But with the opening of the Argyle International Airport, we will not only have Amerijet, but we will have many more carriers. It means that we have to produce more.
Today's World Food Day exhibition was hosted by the Ministry of Agriculture in collaboration with the Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO. And Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is calling on all agricultural stakeholders to help stomp out the practice of predial larceny. The Prime Minister says too many livelihoods are at stake and is urging farmers in particular not to solely rest this problem in the hands of the police, but to come up with solutions to the problem. Dr. Gonsalves adds that in 2016, the government will be embarking on projects that will require a greater involvement from the public to work along with the police to seriously and effectively handle this annoyance to the farming industry.
That even though we have put the law in place and put 20 security officers to work specifically in agriculture to cut out the thieving of crops and animals, predial larceny, that we need to improve our work in that regard, because there is nothing more hurtful than a man toiling all the time with his crops, or raising his pig or his sheep and his goat, and a thief man is around and want to go and thief the goat, the sheep, the pig, and to thief the yellow yam, or the natuli, or the dashin, or the corn, or whatever the crop it is. And we have stepped up our work there, but we need to do even better. And the farmers themselves have to help in that regard.
Additionally, the Prime Minister says farmers need to think wisely about the crops that they want to plant so as to fully capitalize on the harvest, adding that the scarcity of land limits the crops that can be grown here. He further commended the farmers for assisting the government in feeding the people of SVG with their produce, reminding everyone of the zero hunger goal set by his government and supported by the opposition in a parliamentary front.
We don't have a lot of land. It means therefore that we have to direct our efforts to selecting properly what we plant and to make sure that we have a good yield and the economics of the products that we produce in agriculture makes the enterprises sustainable. We have done quite well in taking care of feeding the people, and we are going towards zero hunger and zero poverty. We are pledged to that at the United Nations in one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I want to congratulate all of you who are here with commemoration for the World Food Day, which is tomorrow. And I don't know whether it is coincident or not. The party which I have the honor to lead is 21 years tomorrow.
The Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, in collaboration with the Banana Company in Measures BAM, held a stakeholders consultation yesterday on the preparation of business plans for the development of a number of agricultural facilities. Addressing the forum, Chief Agricultural Officer Ashley Kane said some of the facilities include a poultry processing plant and abattoir, greenhouse, parks, and the Lacqua and Langley Park palletization centers. Kane said that the benefits that could come from these facilities would be significant in improving rural livelihoods as well as the quality of agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
These are important initiatives, and if we get it done right, and if we are successful in implementing and utilizing the funds, I dare say that these facilities and the benefits that would flow from them would be very significant in helping to improve rural livelihoods, the quality of agriculture, the marketing infrastructure, and help us to leverage the potential of our agricultural industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
In order for SVG to become fully developed, Vincentians have to start thinking outside the box and not wait on first world countries to dictate what must be done here at home. That's according to the Regional Technical Advisor to the Marine Component of the Caribbean Aquaterrestrial Solutions CATS program, Robert Kerr, who was speaking at a forum held earlier today by the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority and the Fisheries Department under the theme Preserving Biodiversity and Pride in the South Coast Community. The one-day session was held to disseminate updated information on the proposed South Coast Marine Management Area project. According to Kerr, the coastal and the marine areas are the foundation for several livelihood activities. These include and are not limited to diving, fishing, and tourist accommodations. He says developing the marine areas of SVG makes it possible to have more gains coming from the sectors which depend on coastal resources.
And let us not wait on the first world to show us that we can get more. If we do that, we'll always be coming in third. So we know that the technology is there. We know the value of combining culture and nature as a money machine. We can get more. We know we can get more. But to get more, we have to think differently. We have to think differently. We have to go beyond biodiversity conservation and protected areas. And we have to go beyond those concepts. Because we want more from our resources, and we can't get more. There's no reason why we have to think in terms of environmental impact. Why do we have to think in those terms? We should be thinking in terms of environmental enhancement. You should have an index. Hotels, which oftentimes are seen as a bane of coastal development. There's no need for a hotel to take from the environment and the people.
Kerr further adds that to conserve the coastal areas, Vincentians must find ways to capitalize on the combination of culture and environment.
I'm trying to get you all to think of that resource out there as a money machine. And in a country where we need more things, we cannot ignore it. And CATS is about how to set up the system of management so that you get that money machine going. And by more, I don't mean just more money, I mean more reefs in better quality, more fish, more earnings. It is all possible because we have the technology and we have the know-how. It's just that, as Dr. Vauban said, herding cats is the most difficult thing. Getting people to cooperate and work is not easy. It is the challenge.
The General Employees Cooperative Credit Union, GECU, yesterday presented 3 bursaries valued at $3,000 each to 3 students of the University of the West Indies UWI Open Campus here. The ceremony was held at GECU's conference room where recipients Nicole Bowman, Zell Charles and Jenny Sandy, represented by her brother Jeremiah Sandy, were handed their bursaries. Chairperson of GECO's Scholarship Committee, Dr. Minerva Glasgow, says this is the second such initiative made by the credit union. She said the 3 were selected from 27 applicants, and this is another demonstration by GECO of its commitment to the nation's human resource.
Will receive $3,000 to help with defraying the cost of their studies. Let me first congratulate all the 3 successful recipients. I speak of Ms. Zell Charles, Mrs. Nicole Bowman, and Miss Jenny Sandy. Unfortunately, Jenny is not here today, but she is represented by her brother, Jeremiah. You were selected from among 27 applicants. It was a very close competition based on the criteria that was set, so you have done extremely well. We at GECO invest heavily in education, as is evident from this gesture and the scholarships and bursaries which we present annually to students who perform creditably in the CPEA.
UWI Open Campus Senior Administrative Assistant 2, Camille Lakram, expressed gratitude to the financial institution for assisting the students.
The initiative to extend their education initiatives past the secondary and post-secondary levels to the university level. As we know, GECO does offer scholarships to children having passed CPEA, scholarships and bursaries, and this move speaks to a proactive and socially conscious management team which embraces the core values of a credit union, which is about people helping people, as Mr. Pompey has stated. Now, congratulations are in order to the 3 awardees. I am more than pleased, as this year's awardees are all students of the UWI Open Campus, all of whom I know by face, except of course Mr. Jeremiah Sandy, but the resemblance is there.
And the Mustique Charitable Trust, in collaboration with the University of the West Indies Open Campus, earlier today handed over bursaries to 3 of the Open Campus students. Administrator of the Mustique Charitable Trust, Lavinia Gunn, said there are 15 active bursary recipients currently pursuing studies at the Open Campus. She says the bursary includes assistance with academic fees, along with a laptop which becomes the property of the recipient after 2 years have passed.
The bursary, as you know, consists of assistance with academic fees. You receive 60% of your fees from the Mustique Charitable Trust, and you're responsible for 40%. And the trust also provides you with a laptop computer, which becomes your property once you have stayed in the program for 2 years. The competition for you to get this award was fierce this year. We had 51 applicants, and to narrow it down to 3 was very, very difficult.
As part of the Tree Olympics, the director of the Richmond Vale Academy, along with representatives from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, held a tree planting exercise earlier this week at the Dorchester Hill Primary School grounds. The director of the Richmond Vale Academy, Stina Herberg, said given that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a small island state, it is vulnerable to climate change. Hence, the planting of trees can effect change in the environment and enhance the production of organic foods locally.
We are a small island state, and we are very vulnerable to climate change created by more of the richer nations, so we are feeling it here. So one thing that we can do is to plant trees to prevent erosion, to enhance our local production of organic food. So I think tree planting exercise for us in St. Vincent, it's very important for us to get ready for climate change.
Herberg noted that of the 114 countries, St. Vincent and the Grenadines won gold medals for the most active country and highest percentage of schools participating in the Trilympics competition last year. She said she has been amazed by the interest shown by teachers, students, as well as other volunteers and environmental groups in the exercise, and encourage more support for environmental work.
SVG-TV set up a recycling company some years back, and right now 400 people in St. Vincent are recycling. These 400 people are making some dollars off plastic bottles and cans, and many more people could get involved, go out and pick up all those bottles and cans, organize a common transport to Canton Park and make some money. So you can make money going green. Many have a moringa tree. Now here is a secret, right? You take the leaf of the moringa tree, dry them, put them in the blender, and you have moringa powder. You can easily sell moringa powder, or of course use it yourself and reduce your spending on, for example, imported vitamin pills. Also get on to organic farming. At the Academy we host a big open day on the 12th of December. Everyone can come up on a tour and look into how do we make biogas, how do we harvest rainwater, how do we grow organic food. Food with no chemicals, because chemicals is not good for us. One day we're going to wake up and ask ourselves, how on earth could we think growing food with chemicals is good for us?
The police is investigating a shooting incident in the Belvedere Prospect area this morning, which left a young man dead. The deceased has been identified as John Barnett Mackey, who was reportedly gunned down at his home by an unknown assailant. Meanwhile, several persons reportedly sustained injuries when a minibus they were traveling in veered off the road and overturned in the Bible area this morning. The van, H3815, was transporting persons from the Park Hill South Rivers areas into Kingstown. Several of those who sustained injuries were reportedly taken to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital for medical attention. Their conditions are not known at this time. Keon Cameron Phillips, a 26-year-old resident of Kingston Park, has been arrested and charged for the offense of causing grievous bodily harm to 33-year-old Wilfred Roberts of the same address. Reports are that on October 14, 2015, both Phillips and Roberts were involved in a fracas which developed into an altercation stemming from a domestic dispute. It was during such time Phillips reportedly left the scene, armed himself with a cutlass, and returned and inflicted a severe cutlass wound to the hand of Roberts, almost severing same. Phillips was today escorted to the Serious Offences Court, facing the indictable charge before Chief Magistrate Ration Brown, to which he was not allowed to plea. He was denied bail and was remanded into custody until October 22, 2015, when his bail will be reviewed.